to be.
Justine has enlisted the help of a local cattle rancher in her search for giant anteaters. He thinks there's one roaming this area.
Tie up over there. This is interesting. You can see where this termite nest has had the top knocked off it, and it's definitely an anteater that's done this. Looks like a good area. Lots of termite nests here.
Orvin spotted one. But the anteater has sensed them.
Made too much noise. Stuck in a bog. And off he goes.
Giant anteaters have bad eyesight but a good sense of smell. She must approach quietly downwind.
Fantastic. It's just really fascinating to see how it's using this landscape. You know, it's just specialised with what this landscape has to offer, which is lots of ants and lots of termites. It's just perfect for it.
Giant anteaters have no teeth, but their elongated heads hide a 60-centimetre tongue covered in sticky saliva.
They're just like aliens. They're just bizarre looking. He's feeding on something now. Wow. He's got his head right down in the grass, and he's got his tongue and it's sticking it down the holes, and all the termites get stuck on the tongue and they just lap up as many as they can. They're only walking on their three main toes, which are curled under, so they only pull the claws out when they're actually digging. So they're basically walking on their knuckles, which just looks weird. They're altogether quite strange. Real specialists.
This discovery marks the end of Justine's journey. Tomorrow she must head home.
It's great to see a giant anteater. First time ever. First time I've got a shot, first time I've ever seen one. Brilliant.
After 3 days of relentless climbing, Steve is just 30 meters from the top. But it's not over yet.
I'm actually not sure I'm going to tackle that. Got a foothold there, but that's another that might pay off. Oh, God!
Well done.
I think I can see the top.
The next of it's a nasty bit.
Oh dear, that's all going to come off. God.
He's almost there, but in this final push, he's having to cling on to loose soil and roots.
Go on, good. Go on. Excellent.
Hey, hey!
Nice one, Steve.
Yes! Yeehaw! Oh, fantastic!
Steve's work as a climber is done. Now he must break through the thick wall of vegetation before he can start his search for wildlife on the summit. Gordon and George are discovering why it's called a rainforest.
I'm wet, I'm cold, I'm hungry, and I'm tired.
In pain anywhere?
No, I'm not. I'm pain-free.
Well, that's all right. You're pain-free.
At least I've got my health. Well, it's a rainforest. 80 inches of rain a month. Rain like this all day, couldn't it? Could easily rain like this for several days. My hammock's going to feel very comfortable tonight.
You were assuming we'll get into it.
Oh, what I do for a nice warm bed and a cup of coffee.
George is taking the opportunity to catch up on cataloguing his insects.
Despite the fact that we've had bad luck and we've had a lot of rain and we've had a lot of problems, it's still an enormous thrill to be in an area for the first time which hasn't been collected by anybody. So, you know, all of the stuff I collect, it'll be a first for this area.
On top of Mount Apuigma, Steve is also making new discoveries.
Look at this! We've popped out into a moss, bromeliad, fern forest. This really is the lost world.
As the rest of the team searches for animals, Steve is exploring a rocky shelf above.
They run in tracks. You can see there's almost like roads. These here are bird prints, but these are definitely mammal prints. Kind of polecat, a sort of medium-sized mustelid perhaps. It's something from the weasel family, which means there are mammals up here. And if we find them, they're almost certain to be a new species.
They have just 3 days to track down the mystery mammal.
Well done, who found it?
Yeah, it was just lucky. Just be careful, he's very jumpy.
Oh, look at that underside. Beautiful colours.
Woo! good catch.
Well, I'm going to have to hold him still like that. I think what's particularly special about this frog is I've not seen it in any of the guides or any of the textbooks for the frogs of this area. I tell you what's particularly beautiful, actually, if you look at the underside, quite dull on top, but underneath the belly and the undersides of the pads, look at those colours.
Wow.
That's really quite dramatic, isn't it? Unfortunately, it's very difficult to name a new species without taking it back to a museum and running all sorts of tests on it, and to do that we'd have to kill it, which I'm not prepared to do. So I'm going to put it back where it belongs, in this bromeliad here.
Unidentified frogs, unknown footprints. Who knows what else the mountain holds? It's been a frustrating day for George and Gordon, but at least the rain has stopped.
I have to say, this is not the sharpest tool in the kit. Okay, onions done. Potatoes. I've been fantasizing about a slow roasted lamb shank for most of last week.
Before dinner, George has important work to do.